I've been traveling a lot. I live in Montana, and I'm here visiting a friend of mine. He's let me surf his couch. And I'm in the middle of a trip that I take every winter. Last year was my first time doing this. This is my second time doing it because I loved it so much. And essentially, I go from Montana and I come here to the East Coast to visit friends and family. And then I do a working tour of different homesteads and garden projects and things in the South. I call it Stevens Sojourn and Snowbirding Sustainability Tour, or the 4S. And it's been a lot of fun. And last year, it was my first time in the American Southwest, my first time in Arizona, and that's what I want to tell you about this evening. I met a lady. So I'm connected with Permies.com. I don't know if anybody has ever even heard the word permaculture, but it's sustainability, basically regenerative agriculture. And that's what I'm interested in. That's what I do. And anyhow, I put the word out that I was going to take this 4S tour of the American South. And if anybody wants me to stop by and help them build something or help them grow something, I'm there. I'll be available for at least 3 days. 3 is a magic number. I can work at your place for at least 3 days. All I need is coffee and a place to sleep out of the rain. So this lady in Arizona calls and says, "Hey, it doesn't rain at all down here, so come on down, and then you'll have a chance to do some desert gardening," which I'd never done before. So there were a couple things that I had never done ever because I'd never worked in the desert to try to garden things. But gardening is one thing. I mean, I made this thing called a Zuni bowl. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. You dig about 1.5 feet in the ground, and then you line it with stones. And apparently, whenever the wind blows over it, it catches soil. Whenever the rain actually does come down, they have a monsoon season in Arizona. It'll actually help hold on to the water, and it'll help regenerate the soil and so on. You get organic matter, you get moisture in there. It helps things grow. So that was an interesting thing I learned about, but it probably was not the most interesting thing. When I got there, Dr. Jen told me about the wild burros. I was like, "You're kidding me. There are donkeys just running around in the desert?" And the reason they're out there, I didn't know anything about this. So Dr. Jen has a mining ghost town. Basically, it was like a manganese mine that they mined a whole bunch of stuff out of it, and then they basically closed it. When the mine closed down, they left the animals in the desert. They just said they just cut the ropes and said, "Hey, see you later." They thought the donkeys were just going to wander out there and die, but no, they thrived. And so at night, we were serenaded by female donkeys in heat. I don't know if you've ever heard anything like that before, but I don't recommend it. And then that was like the nightlife in the middle of the Sonoran Desert. But while we were doing gardening stuff outside, Dr. Jen was like, "Don't go over there and don't go over there. Those are the bunkers, and they're full of snakes and brown rats." I said, "Wait a second, there are bunkers here? What's this about?" So she's, "Oh yeah, the family that owned this place before I moved in were a bunch of separatists. They wanted to like secede from the U.S. government. So they basically built this compound with these houses here. So they put machine gun turrets under the ground in these bunkers." Another thing that I never really had encountered until I was in Arizona, and so it was pretty fantastic. I had been there for a couple days. I had stayed clear of the bunkers. I was able to sleep at night, regardless of the donkeys. And then I was taking a larger tour of her land, and she said, "Oh, don't watch your step over there. That's where the air pipe is." And I said, "Wait a minute, air pipe for what?" And she's like, "Oh, there was a bomb shelter underground." Okay, all right. In the middle of Arizona, are they really that scared about it? They said, "Well, it was the Oklahoma City bombers bunker. You know about this guy, right?" And so I come to find out that the family that were trying to secede from the States were connected with the Oklahoma City bomber in some way. And yeah, this blew my mind. And like, yeah, he had like a survival shelter down there. And so she gave me well, she took me at least to the door. So there's this gully that goes through her property. And then she's like, take a look over there. And it was like the top of a 55-gallon drum that was like all painted over and everything. And it was hanging over there. So I opened it up, and sure enough, there was this bunker down there. And she hadn't gone inside at all, but there was like a camp stove in there. There were like cans of food and everything still on the shelves and everything. There was an old lantern in there. And that's the kind of thing you find in the Sonoran Desert in Arizona, 50 some miles down a dirt road into the trackless desert. Thank you for your time.